Do it as the stream starts.
Just
Oh,
do it.
that's right. Just do it, everyone. Welcome back to the Average Homies of Sigmar. I am Steven, the Average Healthsmith. We have
Ed, the average guess.
And I'm Matt, the average Alfarius.
and this is if the first time listening to this, because I know I put this out on the old RSS feed the other day. This is a podcast where we talk Sigmar from an average perspective, an average homie perspective. If you want to know what an average homie is, you should go and look at episode 2. And welcome to our listeners that are in Age of Canuck. Always good to see you. Welcome back, my friend.
The loyal
Okay,
Set my
so
watch
fans.
to it.
You can set your watch to his support of any podcasting community. Okay, so what did you do? So we usually kick it off with what you did in the wide world of AOS this week. And I'll go first. So I went to a 5-round GT in Lethbridge, Alberta. It was called the Battle for the Bridge, but it ended up not being in Lethbridge because Buddy lost his location on Thursday night and found a new one Friday morning, which kudos to him for shifting that quickly. So the community came together. We went to a Legion in Colehurst, which is basically outside of Lethbridge. And we had 20 players playing 5 rounds, over 3 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. And it was a great time overall. I brought Zeech. I was playing the new Zeech book, trying to test it out, see how it felt to play, taking a bit of a palate cleanser from Hellsmith of Hashut. And it was pretty fun. Lost more than I won, but it was still a very fun and interesting army to play. And we'll get into that event a little bit later. Matt, what did you do this weekend?
I went to a small little RTT on Sunday in Orangeville at a place called Fantasy Forged. One of our buddies, Mr. Cook, he's a regular at the store, and he's been pushing them to get events going. So it was their first AOS event. We had 13 people signed up, praise the Hornrat, and 1 dropped. So we had 12 players, and it was a pretty good field. I went 2-1, played against a new player for Hedonites of Slaanesh, and then I played against a very experienced player playing Lumineth Realm Lords, and then a newer player playing Maggotkin. It was probably like 6 new players and then 6 experienced players. So it was very skewed, but all of the experienced players were helping out the newer players with their games. And I brought Dark Oath, Slaves to Darkness.
Nice. Good stuff. Good to hear. I know coming from the previous Ontario Simcoe area Sigmar scene that there's a lot of people willing to help out with newer players. Ed, anything happening in the world of AOS this week?
I actually went down to the same store Matt was at to check it out because I wanted to. One of the things I like to do is check out new game stores and talk to game store owners, or I guess employees. Just it's fun. I enjoyed that. So I went down to check it out. I was able to snap some pics, so we'll show those a bit later, I would imagine.
Yep.
You had a weird experience at that store too, did you not?
I sure did. I slipped on the floor, and somehow the Gitz army set ended up on the counter. My credit card fell out of my wallet, and it beeped, and then the wind picked up, and we were all blown out of the store into my car. I don't know what happened. It was the weirdest thing. I think that we need to get Mulder and Scully in to investigate that. I'm saying there was some paranormal stuff going on.
I want to believe. So I want to believe.
That is so great.
So I have more Gits, which is fitting because I finished painting my last Iron Jaws model today.
That's an accomplishment. Dude, that's an accomplishment.
Yeah,
like,
that's a big accomplishment. For those
Captain
listening,
Morgan.
He doesn't have like 1,000 points of Iron Jaws. How many points of Iron Jaws do you have?
It's close to 5,700 points.
Yeah, and you started painting.
So I'm actually going to kind of put them all out on a table in kind of like a big giant army layout, and then I will send a picture for next week's episode so that
Nice.
the Iron Jaws in their glory will be on display.
Should see if you can do a video, just like panning across some thematic music in the background.
With some thematic music. I think I can handle that.
Yeah.
A family pick. Nice.
Yes.
I like it.
A family works together strong.
I will say, as I finished the last model, I was kind of sad because it has been the primary focus of my hobbying, and now that chapter is closed, I kind of feel a little sad moving on to the next chapter. But I am also looking forward to painting the Gloom Spike kits.
They're fun,
especially all of the wolves that I got in the new set.
The Git Mob.
The Git Mob.
They're very fun. Pro tip though, do sub assemblies. Do not put the goblins on the wolves, or you will be hating your life. Paint the wolves. The goblins.
Get more Ard Boys. I do need another set of Ragers just because I built carry trays and I have 3 empty spots on my Ragers tray. So I'll probably get 3.
Oh, yeah. University
can't have that.
And then I enjoy painting the pigs, so I may get some more little pigs because they're fun.
Nice. So that's some pretty cool stuff we had in AOS this week. Anything fun or exciting happened that isn't gaming related? For me, it is tangentially gaming related. You can see that I'm kind of, if you've seen me hop around different spots in my house as I've done this, I reorganized my hobby room completely, like tore it down, moved everything out of it. And now I have a bit of a streaming station set up, and then I have a paint set up in the back, and everything's organized, and I actually have enough space for like dogs and cats and children and all the things that want to wander in while you're painting. So that was a big reorganization, and took up most of a day when we were doing that. Anything, any non-gaming related excitement this week, Matt?
Yep, we bought tickets to Toronto Comic Con, which is I think in 2 weeks. So,
oh, nice,
really?
Yeah,
nice.
That came fast.
Anything for you, Matt?
Yep, I took my littlest man. He's been obsessed with pinball lately. And we have a cool little arcade in downtown of our city where you pay $5 and it's like all you can play. And it's like this retro arcade, games from like the 80s, 90s, etc. And he just hovered around these 4 pinball machines for 2 hours, just working up a sweat, jumping around. It was great to see. It was really awesome.
That would have been awesome to see.
The very next day, he was like, "Are we going back?" I'm like, "No."
Sometimes things I tell my kids. Was that Pixel Paradise?
No, it was called Last Level Lounge.
Oh, nice. There's a similar spot in Angus.
He's actually opening a second location in the north end of Barrie as well.
Yeah, that's
very cool. It was fantastic. Like the 80s paraphernalia that's all over the walls, the ceiling, like it was a trip down memory lane for me. It was so fantastic. I played Street Fighter 2 for like half an hour, and like it was really cool. It was really, really cool.
That's awesome. And welcome to those who've joined us. I see we got a couple of people watching. If you're new to the stream, we just talk some average homie talk on Sigmar, and now we've done our introductions. We're going to talk some average homies takes on, you get it, Age of Sigmar. So the topic of discussion this week, we're going to cover 2 before we go to the average homie of the week. So the first question we're going to talk about is, do you think that Age of Sigmar is in a healthy, I say air quotations healthy, because that means different things to different people, state at the moment? And Matt, can you kick us off?
Sure. I think that we are in game-wise, we're in a healthy state. I think that the game plays nicely. There's a couple of minor tweaks that I would make if I was ever in charge. But I think overall we're in a healthy state. The new battle tomes that have coming out have been powerhouses and outhouses is how I'm viewing them right now. And I would like to see that balanced a little bit. My biggest sort of gripe at the current moment is that I'm really bored with the current GHB. We've been playing this for 9 months, and I'm getting kind of stagnant on the battle plans and the battle tactics. There's only, I guess, the meta has worked itself out for the most part, and I'd just like to see some changes. But I think we are in a healthy state.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. We're in a healthy state. I was looking up the Warhammer stats. I can't share them right now because they're unlockable for those not in Patreon in a couple days. But I'll just bring up some viewpoints on it without giving too much away of what they actually put a lot of hard work into. But essentially, I agree that we're in a fairly healthy thing. There's a couple armies that need help, but so I'll take this in two parts then. I'll take it from a game mechanics perspective first, and then we'll go like factions right after that. So from a game mechanic perspective, I think we're fine. I mean, some people are obscuring helps and hurts some people and some armies, and you definitely have to have a plan for how obscuring is going to affect your game plan, whether it be positive or negative. I think the combat is fine. The clarifications in terms of strike first, strike middle, strike last, chain fighting, how it interacts with that, everything's good to go there. We've mostly worked out what the hell a manifestation is.
Mostly.
Mostly. And how it works. I think there's going to be a few FAQs or rules clarification with Zeech in terms of like how things come in and off the board with buffs and debuffs. And maybe there are, I just haven't found them yet. But other than that, I think from a rules perspective, the game is pretty healthy. Let's see here. Oh, we got a comment as I say that. The game will be balanced when Daughters of Cain gets their book released. Yeah, he's just waiting. He has been waiting to bring his snake ladies out.
What is that meme where the guy's like,
Yeah, that's right behind the tree. that's H behind the tree. Daughters of Cain. So game-wise, I think the rules perspective, we're fine. I mean, there's some minor tweaks we can talk about at the next point. Faction-wise, some of them need help. And I hope hopefully next week we're going to get balance. I mean, I thought it was going to come this week, but we were wrong. So it hopefully comes next week. But just looking at, let's see here. Yeah, that's what I was looking at. So just talking about the top performing army right now is at a 60% win rate, which needs a little tweaking. And this is based off of GT, so not one-day events. But the Magkin and Nurgle right now is being reported through Warhammer at 60% win rate. And the worst win rate right now, any guesses on, it's a tie. There's two factions that are tied for the worst win rate.
I think one of them is cities.
Yep, one cities, and then another one we've already mentioned in this stream.
Gits?
Yep, Gits.
Yeah.
Gits is 43, and there's actually an interesting article that'll be available on Warhammer, I think a day from now. But essentially, they talk about skill level, high skill level, medium skill level, low skill level, and the win rates. So they have an ELO system, they have their own bespoke system, but like roughly equivalent to like what's the cap of a high skill player playing a faction? What's the cap of a low skill player playing a faction? And Gits, the cap for a high skill player, like a high ELO player, was 50%. That's it.
So you're a good player.
Yeah, the top players in the world win 50% of the time with Gits.
Wow. Yeah.
So
but rewind that 3 months ago,
exactly,
and Gits were at like a 58% win rate because Sunstealer Wheelers were busted.
Yeah, because they propped the book up.
So this should maybe get cogs running. No pun intended, but cogs running to say, hey, if one unit puts this army into such a high win rate and we nerf that one unit, and the rest of the army is not performing, and like something needs to be done. Keep the Sunstealer Wheelers the way they are because I think they're fine. It's sad, but they're fine. But something needs to be buffed in the army to make them, give them that extra 5 to 8% win rate would be really nice.
I think Just
Sorry,
having
I'm just gonna. I have to interject for 1 second. I just have to step away for 1 second.
Yeah, no worries,
Okay.
no worries. I think having played it and having to build lists and stuff with it over the last month and a half, the one thing I think points reduction on some things will fix it. Because I'm building lists and I find myself that I'm like always taking a unit out because I'm so close to the point. So I mean, if key things like Starro Pack goes down 10, 15 points, Gobapalooza goes from 150 to 140, stuff like that, I think you might be able to fit an extra unit in somewhere and you're good. The funny thing is I've seen a lot of people shift just back to Trogs, and I really would hope that we can get that book going where at least the wolves are viable. At least the squigs are viable. I've seen a lot of good squig lists, but I just don't want to see like Trog City again. It's so boring.
It's boring. It's boring to play against. It's boring to play.
Yeah, 100%. So I mean, overall, as we talk about like the health of the game right now, looking at these factions again, if you want to subscribe to Warhammer or wait a couple days, it'll be out soon. But there's only 4 above the 55% win rate, and there's 4 below. So basically, over 2/3 of the game is in that healthy 45 to 55.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. So it's not too terrible. And my labor of love, where are they here? Yes, they're at a 48% win rate. My 4-inch moving friends from Chaos. So they're coming up too. And they
is that the Helmsmiths?
Yeah. They initially started out with like 38, 40. It was very low at the start, and now it started. People are starting to figure out the book, getting them on the table. So Ed, what are your thoughts on where the game state is right now?
I think it's in a fairly healthy spot. I'm liking to see the kind of the development of the faction identities. Where like for example, Stormcast leading harder into their Reforged tragedy, Skaven embracing their chaos tech absurdity. I really like the way that's playing out.
Yeah, I'll tell you, like playing the new Zeech book. I played a game against Matt yesterday with the new Zeech book. It's very Zeechy.
It is. It's funny because I was having a conversation with the G this morning. We were talking about the game, and he wanted to know how I felt about them. And I had said, like, they're good. I don't think they're overpowered, but I think they're good. They have a lot of business going on. And the problem that I can see happening with them is that we've found the loopholes to break the army restrictions. And it's a very Tzeentch thing to do. But, those restrictions are there for a reason. And then the very next line is, well, here's a spell that allows you to break that restriction. Or here's an interaction that the player base has found out that allows you to break that restriction. And it's kind of like, for me personally, when I was playing against it, I was like, I know sort of that we're playing the game, but I was being very overwhelmed by it's every movement. No, this one's every hero. Okay, and they can do what? They get to do okay, and then you get to, and then it was a lot to take in for a first game. And I can see how a higher skill level player can abuse that. And not weaponize it, but if you confuse your opponent in, like, I'm not trying to say, oh, I'm gonna confuse you with my rules, but you confuse your opponent by, I'm here, but I'm really not there. That unit is going to be wherever I want it to be because I can do this, even though I did just bring it in from illusion. And that,
and it's we'll go over the list. And spoiler, average homie of the week list is a Zeech list, and I'll go over it and I'll kind of talk through it as we get through it. But I agree. It took me, I'm 6 games into it right now, and I'm just starting to understand the play pattern of how it works. Like, if you just rock up to it at the table and you're not playing it, it's difficult for your opponent to explain to you. You kind of have to see it happen. And then you're
Yes.
like, because like by round 4 or 5, you could start to sense out like, okay, he's going to pull that off. He's going to put that back on. You need reps into it. That's what I'd say. If you're a casual player and you run into it, accept that you might not understand some things. Your opponent has I'm not gonna say duty, but like we'll walk you through on like what they're doing so you understand. They don't need to like handhold you, but they're going to explain like I have the capacity to do this. I'm doing this. So like last night when I was playing Matt, I had to just because he'd never seen it, I had to be like, I will now do this. It is legal because of this. It does not seem like it is legal, but this is the method. So we have a couple questions on balance before we go over to our King for a Day question. So a couple from Age Connects. The first one being, will the balance update next week reflect the new books coming out, i.e. Sylvaneth, Daughters of Cain, and the rest? Your thoughts, gentlemen, starting with Matt.
Yeah, I think they will, because you have to remember that those battle tomes have been finished for 2 months, 3 months. Like they're probably just finishing the pressing of those books themselves, and it would be with the last balance update in mind while printing those. So those books could come out and there could be rules within them that just aren't relevant, or they're different now, like they have a different interaction. That's kind of my take. I think that they will have an impact on the books themselves.
Ed.
I will say I hope that they will come out with the books in mind, but I have a sneaking suspicion that they won't. That's just a feeling. It's a gut feeling. I have legitimately nothing to back that up with. It's just a feeling.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm kind of 50-50 on it. I think whatever patching they're doing, whatever balancing, like if it's a core rules balance, if it's an FAQ of something that affects all factions, they're doing it with that in mind because they know the play mechanics of what's happening. What I don't think you'll see is the points. So like I don't think you'll see the points or the FAQ for the books that aren't out yet, because now all that stuff's digital and they've committed to just basically making the points a digital update. We'll get the book come out and they'll just say, here's your points. Here's your day one FAQ or whatever you need.
Right. Yep.
But I think the generalistic, if they change like obscuring or if they change like whatever, some key thing, then yes, it's probably with that in mind. And then the next question from Major Canuck is, with the new books that have come out, almost like having their own currency or bookkeeping, so each faction having its own style of bookkeeping, is what he's getting at. Is this good for the game? Do you think this would be expected for the new season? It's the new GHB.
I'm not sure I fully understand what they mean by what he means by bookkeeping.
I think he's explicitly referring to OBR.
OBR and Lumineth.
Lumineth has a lot of bookkeeping. Siege has less, but there is. Matt saw it yesterday. I had to keep track of what was set up and what wasn't.
Right. And like, I think that OBR is fine because it's quite literally, I've got a hero. This is how many relentless discipline points I get at the beginning of the round. Do I have a Soul Reaper to give me more? Am I running the Army of Renown to give me more? Like it's an extra die on the side. Mm-hmm. I've played against Lumineth 3 times now in the past 2 tournaments, and all 3 players have this big board on the side that tracks all of their sigils. And fortunately, we've played an event that has the space for that, but there are some places that don't. Like if you go to LVO, for example, those tables are divided by a piece of masking tape. And you won't have anywhere to put that. So, I mean, that's really a minor thing. But logistically speaking, it's a pain. It really is. And you're doing it so that your opponent benefits from it, right? So that your opponent knows, oh, you've got this sigil and this sigil, which will give you this and this and this. Moving forward, I can definitely see Doc getting something like that, because they already sort of had one where it was this turn you get this turn, like even IDK, Idenef got that, where it was the tides and you had to switch back and forth. I see Doc getting something similar.
I could see that. I mean, they already have it because they have the
Mhm.
cascading thing by Battle.
Exactly.
I'm sure it'll just be a variation on the theme for that.
Mhm.
As I'm thinking through what economies there are, it's funny because I'm actually the economy, the bookkeeping is mostly chaos. We have apotheosis points, fate points, blood tithe, demonic power points. They're mostly chaos related. So it's variations on a theme. Death, not so much. Like, yes,
Nope.
there is OBR, like we talked about, but the rest is all recursion and or other stuff. And order is all over the board. Order is actually mostly now that I think about this, order is kind of focused on because we have Seraphon that have the pick the thing and do the other thing. We have IDK, like you talked about, Doc. Yeah. Order minus Stormcast is basically a chart. Chaos is a point bank. Yep. Destruction is whatever.
Did you remember to wah?
Did you remember to wah, or did the moon move? And yeah, it's interesting. So I think that's a funny little subcatch by Agent Canuck there. And good point. Yeah. Good point to you, Agent Canuck. All right. With that being said, we're going to move on to the next question. And that is like we kind of bandied around the bush here is if you were in total control of Age of Sigmar right now, what changes would you make to make the game better? Matt, kick us off.
My name is James Workshop. And the very first thing that I would do is get rid of physical copy of books. Or maybe not get rid of them because some people really like them. Give me an option to buy it digitally. When I purchased my Slaves to Darkness book, I came home, I unwrapped it. I said to my wife, I just paid $58 for this book. I opened up the back page and said, and this is all I get out of it, is this 10-digit code here that I'm going to put into my app. Because the rest at this point is pretty irrelevant because I waited, a year before I bought my book or however long it's been. Mm-hmm. And I was like, most of this information in here has been changed. And I feel like it's a waste to have this book if I'm not going to read the lore, which I mean, I do, but if I'm not going to read the lore, then it just feels like a big waste, right? My other big hot take would be for new armies when they come out, there is like a 2-week period from the time the battle tome is released to the time they become official. And in that 2 weeks, changes can be made in an emergency situation.
Like
and
Votann.
It's like Votann, exactly. Where or even the Eldari when 10th edition Index came out. So they were absolutely busted and they made immediate changes. I feel that in AOS, they really do wait almost to update for the second update after a battle tome's been released before they start to make, and they make drastic changes, which is the other qualm that I have is that they go from oh, look, we've got a 63% win rate to, yeah, we've got a 32% win rate now because we just got hit so hard with the Nerf cannon. So if I was, James Workshop, I would go digital, have a digital option for books, but I would also go back to in the app itself to stop the paywall on war scrolls, not necessarily abilities. You can, I just want to know what my opponent's army does. And like, yes, we're a very honest community. And yes, there are resources available that I can look up what a Magister on disc, what their stats are. But for the most part, we're relying on our opponent to basically be truthful with us. Mm-hmm. And I would like to know some of those things. I remember in 3rd edition, everything was viewable except for all of like the battle traits and all of the special rules like artifacts, etc. They were the ones that were behind the paywall. But I could look up what a Hurricane Windcharger does and all of its abilities. So it just make it a little bit more user friendly.
Yeah, I would. Anything else on that?
Nope.
Yeah. So on the digital side, I'm in agreement with you. I agree with you. Agent Canuck put, would make the books come out faster? Yes, it absolutely would.
Absolutely.
Just like Index, they're capable of doing Index Hammer. They're capable of doing, Battle Tome Drop, and then have it for all of the edition and make changes. What would I do? Okay, so there's a few things. So we've already talked about the digital. So just to like put my spin on the digital books, I would keep the option of like a lore book, but make the game's rules all digital. And so I probably do it with like the narrative folks that want the narrative thing. The book is the narrative thing. Here's your Path to Glory book. It has lore about your faction. If you want to, learn more about your faction, and here's some narrative gaming rules, because you're hanging out in your basement with your friends and you're doing a campaign and everyone's having a great time. It's not might be going to be balanced, but you write house rules, so you're balancing that anyways.
Exactly.
The rules, the last point on the rules, I would agree. I think the way you can do this, the way to get around it, is maybe not that everyone sees it, but make a tournament. So GW can give a tournament organizer app. So when you call a judge, the judge has access to every battle tome.
Yeah.
So you say, I'm BCP, I'm a tournament organizer. I would like my tournament organizer code for the day. It opens, you have all the stuff, and maybe it closes when your event closes, whatever. That's eminently doable. They have the tournament organizer, or the judges have access to all the rules. So if something's not certain, you go over and you're like, here's my judge app. I have all the rules access.
Right. Like Oracle for Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, exactly. Game state itself. I'm going to go on a limb here. This is a bit out there, and I know this isn't the most popular thing. I would try and find a method by where it wouldn't be just 2K. I would find a competitive and or tournament thing you could run at 1,500 points or something variable in there. Spearhead's great. I think they've done a good job to try and introduce people to it. But I want to play something in the actual core mechanics and have it where it can be modulated by a tournament organizer. It's like, I've only got 2 hours a game. I want to run an event in 6 to 8 hours. Something like that. And you're like, hey, we're running from 9 till 3. We can get 3 games in because we're going to play 1,500 points or 1,200 points or whatever. Tough to balance, I know, but like I would try and find some middle ground on that, because I think there's a lot of scope to have people playing, because people don't want to play 2,000 points. I think it's a barrier for people to get into the hobby and to push stuff around, because it's a bunch of stuff. And it leads to people playing Gargants, and we don't want that. So
if I can add to that point too, I have a couple of friends that live outside of my area, and their biggest qualm with AOS and 40K is that they don't have 2.5 to 3 hours to play a game. Right? They want a game done. They want to be able to play 3 games in an afternoon as opposed to 1 game. Exactly. So yeah, lower point value, creating more time will open up your target audience, or will open up for more players as well.
Yes. Friday night Sigmar fights.
Right?
Long may it rest.
Rip.
Okay, being more close to the boat and like relevant to like 4th edition and whatnot, what would I change to make for the game? I would essentially, how to put this? I would try and streamline some of the interactions where they're all kind of similar, but not to make it like full 40K. But it's like when something does a kickflip and is set up, like, set the model back up, make it kind of like understandable to someone. This is tough to explain, but it's like make some of the battle traits more aligned with each other. Because some right now, so you can tell, like you talked about, like what did you say, the outhouse and the hammer or something like that?
Yeah, no, it's the rocket ship and the outhouse.
They write it slightly differently when they talk about the battle traits, like the English they're using and some of the description of it, but they're doing the same thing. And so I'd like a standardization on that.
Like a universal special rule?
Yeah, but like I don't want to make it bland. I just
right. Okay.
Yeah, is like I don't want to end up with like the 40K like everything is based off the weapons profile and like it's all the same and stuff like that. And then I guess the last thing that I would, do if I was king for a day would be, and this is a controversial one, I'd probably have battle formations, kind of like third edition.
Yeah.
I would go back to some sort of a system of that. I don't know what the system would be, but it would be, I know right now that you have to take a certain boss to take certain things, but I like the variation of battle line / some things. Some armies you don't need. Chart. Force arc chart. And just make it different for each army. Don't make it like battle line and this is battle line. Just make it like for example, this is for you, Age Canuck. Why in God's green earth are you fielding Carthusa in the same as Marathi? They're actively fighting each other. If you want to do that, maybe there's like a separate force arc. Like Carthusa has to take X amount of crones or whatever with her, and Marathi's got to take X amount of snakes. I don't care. But like make some sort of a force arc chart that's relevant to the faction that kind of allows you to play with it, but also builds kind of the faction identity. And he said he wants manifestations fixed is what
he's just said make them units fixed. And I agree wholeheartedly. It came up in our game last night. And OBR suffer from the same thing where they have the keyword for the army that they are attached to, but they can't benefit from the abilities that target that benefit units from and it's just, when are they a unit? When are they not a unit? It's one of the most confusing. Just, I agree with you, Age of Canuck. It just make them a unit. End of story.
What he's talking is funny because the thing he's talking about is actually it did benefit, but it didn't because it was the demonic simulacrum. Couldn't use fate points to plus its charge, but it uses fate points to make its attack better.
Exactly.
Riddle me this, Ed. King for a day. What would you
do? Well, to build off on your codes for the tournament organizer, I think that one of the things I would do would be to generate a code that the tournament organizer could give to all tournament participants that opens all battle tomes for 18 hours. So you go to the tournament, you get the code, you now have access to every battle tome for a limited time frame during the tournament. So that way you have it, your opponent has it, the tournament organizer has it, everybody has access to it. Because now you don't get it forever because obviously they want you to buy the books.
Yeah, you do. You just screenshot every page.
Well, I mean, I suppose.
But I understand what you're saying. Yep.
Yeah. So, adding to that, I think I would like to see an online portal developed to allow, like, I struggled all day when thinking about this, trying to word this properly. An online portal that allows you to find stores that may not necessarily be holding events, but that sell the product. Like the Wizards Play Network. You could go in and search, I want to search within 50 kilometers of this address, and it gave you every store that you could go and buy product for. One of the things that I really enjoy doing is going to new stores. I said that already today, but meeting new store owners and new store employees and finding out, oh, I knew about that store, and then kind of tucking that information away and going in a conversation 6-8 months from now, someone goes, oh, I was in Orangeville and I wish I knew that there was a game store. And I'm like, yeah, there is one there but having that, being able to search, especially you can sort it by stores who hold events regularly. Like Sir Games a Lot, I do believe, has a regular Spearhead event on Sundays. So, being able to find that would be kind of cool. Those would be my two main ones. Giving the battle tomes to everybody during a tournament, and being able to find stores with a portal. That would be what other than that, I'm really happy and content with the way the game plays. I don't think I would want to make a change beyond that.
There is one more change that I would like to make that I just sort of remembered as we were talking, and that would just to be get rid of Megakin.
Ask and you shall receive.
and you know what? I think I'd also like now that I sit and think about it, I think I'd like to add an additional category to the score sheet as a sportsmanship points, where your opponent can award you up to 5 points for sportsmanship.
Oh, that's oh man,
it's really
Yeah.
subjective. That is the
Yeah.
biggest problem. Like I remember going to so many events way back in the day, and sportsmen, you at the bottom of score sheets, you had to assign a point between 0 and 5 points, and it's like, I know that Ed and myself are in contention for first place, and the very next category that they look at is sportsman. So I just zero bomb you. I give you a 1 sportsman. You're the best player I've ever played against, but I give you a 1 because then I know that I'll win. And it was happening, right? Because it's so subjective, I might really enjoy my game, but my energy might annoy the crap out of you. And you'd be like, no, I didn't like it. Or they go, I didn't like your army. You were a great person, but I hated playing against your Megakin. So therefore, I'm giving you a 1.
Megakin player you come across.
They're used to. I attended an event way back in the day called Astronomicon, and their sportsman point awarding system was perfected over 10 years, where it was like, it was a score out of 10, and it was a checkbox. Did your opponent do this? Yes, cool. Did your opponent do this? Yes. No, they didn't do. And you got a score out of 10. But it wasn't based on, did I like playing against you? It's did they meet the criteria of being a good sport? And then you could assign or remove, like give bonus points or detriment or demerit points based upon maybe their attitude or etc. And it's really the only way that you can score sportsmen that's a non-biased way of doing it.
I would be okay with that too.
Yep.
Just to add on to that, not to be the guy that needs the last word, the one thing I think in this topic or in this vein that we could do, though, that is coming out that I'm starting to see more and more often is best overall by vice emphasis on best general.
Yes.
And I'm seeing in more events that I go to, take note, Agent Canuck, take note. The emphasis is on the best overall. Like the best general, yeah, they get up there, get their award, whatever. But like if you're best overall, then you crush it, right? Because you crushed the hobby, you crushed the games, and then you can playing the sportsmanship on it, whatever. But like the painting too. So I throw that in there as a bit of a discussion. So yeah, I think painting needs to be in there. It's fine to play with gray models, but get them painted. Paint those things up. All right. Yes, and AG Connect says, with the merger of BCP and another company, I wonder if that wish will come true on a new platform. I have a feeling we will see in the fall.
We will find out.
I think if anything's changing, BCP will change it for the next ITC season. They will keep what they have this one, and then we'll see in November if there's going to be a shift to it. All right. Well, that is that for King for a day. So we're going to move on to average homie of the week. Ta-da. Oh, best overall painting, best sportsmanship. Yeah, sportsmanship's key. Like, yep, still gotta go for it. Yeah, oh God, I hate. All right, to answer your thing, Agent Canuck, best sportsmanship's cool, but I'll give you a thing I've seen as a tournament organizer that did a good job was raffles. He went around. I've seen it. It was an organizer in Edmonton last year. Went around and checked that everyone had dice, tape measure, all their stuff on bases, like everything that was in accordance with the player pack, like what they wanted of the player pack. And if you showed up on time at your table, your stuff, raffle ticket. If you did not show up with stuff on a base, without you're missing stuff, whatever, no raffle ticket. So I offer that as a tool.
Was that just for the first round, or is that for every single round?
It was for every single round. Keeping people on track. Okay, so average homie of the week. So this comes to us from, as you can see here on the screen, the Battle for the Bridge. As we talked about, it was not in Lethbridge per se, Colehurst, Alberta, at the Legion. Funny story about this Legion. There is a cat that lives beside the Legion, and it's a free roaming indoor-outdoor cat in a household that just had a baby. So it's more outdoor now, apparently. And it goes to the Legion, and this particular Legion has a sliding door. Like it's one of the motion activation glass sliding door. So it'll wait for people to open it, and it just wanders in. I was playing my game, and something brushed against my leg. I was like, oh, what is that? I looked down, like, oh, it's just a Legion cat. I think this cat was wandering around.
That's so awesome.
It was great. Battle for the Bridge, 20 players. The 10th overall player, Patrick Hudson, Disciples of Zeech. He didn't get to play the 5th round. I think he had a previous appointment, but I will label him a homie, even though he didn't finish all his 5 games. Not only one, because he talked to us about Zeech at the Lunch Zeech meeting we had, but mostly because he bought everyone a raffle ticket for not making it. So because he couldn't play all 5 rounds, I'm told he bought everyone an extra raffle ticket to kind of try and be a good sport and make up for it. So kudos to you, Patrick. You are a great exemplar of being a homie. Let's take a look at your list. Battle for the Bridge. Patrick Hudson, Zeechy. So, first off, he is playing, he described it to me because I talked to him about his list a little bit. He's playing, he called it Mimi, Denizens of the Silver Towers. I think it's worth a try. If you're playing Zeech, it's worth a try at least once. So I'll bring it up here in a second off my phone. I'll read it out. But it is a very unused battle formation. Mostly people use the 9-inch charge equals more tax, or they're using the bring stuff in from the side of the board edge battle formations. But this one is Fate Point Recursion. So this one right here, there's a Denison Silver Towers. So each time each unit uses an ability that spends 1 or more fate points, roll a dice. On a 4 or up, you gain a fate point. So you're recurring your fate points as you spend them, potentially. If you remove 1 or more damage points from the damage pool of a friendly Disciples Zeech unit as a result of the ability of using it, after that's done, roll another dice. On a 4 up, gain a fate point. So you get 2 chances if you're using it to mitigate damage. Again, it's not taken that often, but if you're leaning completely into fate points, it might be worth a shot. He's taking 2 drops. Lore of Change. This is the lore that has turned something to a spawn. Put it on the board with it. The one I used last night, Full Reality. So take a unit on or off, and it is and or. And then Manifestations of Zeech, which after playing with them last night are so good, and I don't think I can play another game without them. I don't own them, so that's the only reason I didn't play them at the event. Plays Master of the Past and Restless Energy, and honestly, I think every Zeech player that weekend took Master of the Past and Restless Energy. If you're thinking of playing Zeech, Master of the Past, you can nuke dudes if they're visible with Mortal Wound spells like nonstop. You can get in there, you're mobile with your flipping, and then Restless Energy, you have the weird mobility to go take home objectives with stupid things. Like last night, I took a home objective with Flamers that just flipped in off the board edge. General's Regiment. So 2 regiments. Kairos Fate Weaver. It's a great, you're either running a Fate Weaver or you're running a Lord of Change. There's pros and cons to both. Fate Weaver still has the flip a dice. So if you roll like a 3 and a 4, you pick 2 4s and you cast on an 8 + 1 because he gets a +1. He still has that. He has a weird thing where if one of your wizards within a certain amount of them unbind something, so in your enemy's hero phase, he unbinds something, or one of the wizards unbind, they get a free magical intervention, which is key because the next thing he does is once per battle round, he can auto cast something on a 9. So like last night, I was like, auto cast Full Reality or auto cast like whatever you need at your specific moment. Kairos is just going to intervene sometimes for free and just do it. And if it gets unbound, then, well, you get a fate point. 2 Chaos Spawn, they sit off the board. They come in if you run into an army that you can nuke with Mortal Wounds and bring them in. And if not, they just are things that flip in and out and help you do your smoke and mirrors. Curseling, I have Zeech. This guy right here is the one people take him because he casts in combat is his shtick. So his battle trait or his thing on his scroll is any combat phase, he gets to use a non-summon ability in combat. So you can do that D3 damage, -1 to wound. You can do full reality in combat, which I as I say it, you can do some crazy things. We'll put it that way. And his spell is subtract 1 from save rolls. So it actually a lot of the reason people are running this one is because that -1 to save, a lot of Zeech is Ren 1. So if you can stack the -1 to save, if you go in with Ren 1, then at least you have a bit of chance for your hammers to push the damage over the edge. Effective Ren 2 Zangors are like no joke. They'll do some work. Scourge of Gairan, Carrick Acolytes. So that goes with it's the humans, essentially the human troops on that. Pull them up here. Let's see what they do again. Oh yeah, they +1 damage, so they're just a bunch of damage. So they're damage 1 natively, but if they're within 12 of any manifestation, friendly or enemy, so with Zeech you're gonna be for the most part. You can just make it happen. +1 to damage, so they're base damage 2. And they're within 12 of manifestation, and they add 1 to Ren. They pick in the shooting phase, they pick something within 12 of them that's visible, and they give them a little token, and they're +1 to Ren when they fight it. So essentially they go force 3s, Ren 1, damage 2 on their maximum profile. Fate Mass. So that's the first regiment. So essentially we've got our caster, we've got some stuff to bring on the board, we've got our fighty caster, and then humans that can just get in there and do damage if they're near magic. Regiment 1. Fate Master.
Can you put the list up? We can't see that list.
Why is it? Ooh. Share this tab instead. So when I clicked it, it opened a side one. My apologies.
Thank you.
Just interrupt me next time. Get in there. I'm so excited about Zeech. My list was masked by illusion. So there we go. Regiment 2, Fate Master. So this is the new human wizard they have access to. Matt got to see him in all his glory last night. He basically can go deep strike and bring something in with him on deep strike 9 inches away in my movement phase or the Zeech player's movement phase. And if you flip him back into illusion, he can do it again. So it's not just like a one-time thing. You can like fold reality, bring him back, and it's just like it's a schmoz. His other thing, which I didn't get to use last night, is in hero phase, he can pick something in front of him, spend 2 fate points, and if you charge it, it automatically goes back into illusion. So it just makes something unchargeable, essentially.
Nice.
Other than giving your opponent movement. He's got
the model is super cool. I love that
the model is super cool. I definitely want to get one. Artifacts of power. No. Hero traits. He's Silver Summoner. So essentially what that is, it's the faction's access to recursion. So he picks a friendly non-Warflock, so non-Zangor, i.e. in this list, the Kyric Acolytes he can bring back. Arcanite unit that's been destroyed. And for a CP, you set up a replacement unit, half the models, or the 9 away, and within 12 inches of a friendly Argent Shard. So with this list, he can jam that Argent Shard in the backfield, throw up the Acolytes, and just recur them in the backfield. He's kind of SPGLing it with Kyric.
Nice.
He brought two reinforced bricks of Zangor Enlighten. I talked to him about it because the normal is like 1 brick of foot Zangors and 1 brick of Enlighten that we're seeing. And he's like, I don't want to move foot Zangors. And after 5 games of moving foot Zangors, I don't blame him one bit whatsoever. These are the Zangor cavalry. They're very good on the charge. Even not on the charge, the discs do D3 damage. They can do a lot of damage. Apparently, they can't do enough to kill a Demon Prince in 1 activation, but normally they can.
They were 90% of the way there.
They were just, by 1 move. And then his last unit there, he's got Zangor Skyfire, so non-reinforced, and I don't think you'll see them reinforced. It's because their shtick is they don't take modifiers to hit and wound when they shoot to start off with, and if you put damage points on something with them, combat attacks for friendly Warflock get +1 to hit. So you get the free all-out attack for whatever.
Oh, they're vigilers.
Yeah, they're vigilers. They're
Very cool.
Yeah, and they've got some chip damage. They're like, so they're Arrow of Fate, which is their shooting. They're 2 attacks each, obviously 3 for the champion. So you're looking at for 7 attacks, 4s and 3s, rend 1 damage 2. So it's not a guarantee that you're going to get it through, but odds are you'll probably put a pointer damage on and you'll get the buff and you send the Warflock in. And when the Enlighten hit on 4 or 3s and 3s, it can get crazy.
Exactly.
And then Argent Shark. So overall, 2-drop, low drop. I like it. I found playing with Zeech, you kind of want to be 2 because you want to just set the pace right away. Because if you run into something that's going to alpha strike you, like LRL, you want to be able to mitigate right off the hop and say, maybe I'm going first and I set up my stuff or not. He did pretty well. Let's see. I'll share this tab instead. So he went 3 and 1. No, potentially 3 and 2, whatever the last one would have been because he didn't get to play it. And he played into Lumineth Realm Lords. So he beat Lumineth Realm Lords right off the hop. And then he played into Hedonites, and he lost to Hedonites. And then he played into Daughters of Cain, beat them, and he beat Effect Crypt Horrors list.
Nice.
So, well done to you, Patrick. Great Zeech list. Good job, and thanks for the raffle ticket, even though it didn't win me anything. But funny story on like kind of fate, 2 of the 4 raffle wins were from tickets he bought people.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that is Patrick, you are the homie of the week. All right, we'll pull that off. Okay. Now, for moving on from average homie of the week, we go down to hobby time, and there's only one person that submitted hobby time photos this week. So we're gonna let Ed walk us through this. I'll throw the first one up.
Oh, so this is an image I snapped at the tournament that Matt played in Orangeville on
Hey,
Sunday.
those guys look familiar.
Don't they? There's really cool tokens sitting in front there too.
Yeah,
Just
right.
remember they
Those
came from
tokens
over
are a
there.
lifesaver.
Right?
Dowling Woodworking. Hey, just do your shameless plug there.
Come on, they're on the gram. They're on the gram.
So there's that one. I think I sent 2 or 3.
Yep, I'll put the other ones up. There's another one.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
that's
Matt's favorite army.
Gary's. I can never pronounce his last name. It starts with an S. Gary S. His Nurgle. This dude is an unbelievable painter. He converts about 90% of his models. He's a retired gentleman like myself. He builds display boards for every single one of his armies. They're usually multi-tiered with effects like sound or smoke or running water. Like, this dude's on a different level when it comes to the hobby. He's fantastic.
Nice. And then I think it's a variation on a theme for the last one. That's one of his still, right?
No, that's not one of his. That was the one of the other. There was 3 Maggotkin players at this event, but that dude, his models were superb.
Yeah, I was gonna say, look, the Megakin play. You might not like the army mechanics, but they painted them pretty well.
Oh yeah. The models are beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is an old Great Unclean one, isn't it? I look at that sword.
I think it might be a creature caster. It could be a conversion as well.
Yeah,
because
it looks pretty bad.
It could be a 3D print.
Yeah,
because there's elements of it that are very Nurgle-y, but I'm not familiar with the model itself.
All right. So that being done, let's move around the horn to what we are working on hobby-wise for the next week. For me, a complete mystery. I don't know, because I'm going away for work for 10 days. So I usually don't do anything before I go away because I know I'm not going to be able to play with it for like a couple of weeks and stuff. So I'm probably just going to, do something other than Warhammer for 3 or 4 days. I might get a TTS game in, but I doubt I'm going to have any hobby stuff happening. Ed, what are you up to next week?
I have a whole host of gits that need to be primed, dry brushed, and painted. So, and given the fact that I am on vacation from now until the end of the month,
Nice.
let's
Let's
go.
go.
And Matt.
I've got a fun little Demon Prince on my paint table, just a nurgly dude that I want to paint, and I'm trying to figure out I'm trying to figure out a conversion that I'm working on to make sure pieces fit, and etc. For an army that I'm really, really stoked for.
Yep. Pretty good.
It was fiendishly delightful.
Fiendishly delightful. We'll see. Yeah. So that's it. That's it for today's show. I think we'll wrap it up there. We're right on the hour mark, as always.
Yep. Yeah.
So any last things you want to plug before we wrap it up?
Nope.
Nothing, Ed. Nothing, Matt. Okay.
No.
For me, I'll plug that if you're in the Alberta region, there's 2 things coming up. April 27th, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Age of Canucks. There's going to be an RTT at the end of April. We haven't had an RTT since the start of February. There's been some game space availability lacking, we'll put it that way. So our fearless organizer, Age of Canuck, is putting on an RTT. I believe it's something like April showers bring corn flowers. Something like that. Corn skull. It's some like corn thing. 26. Okay, it's on the 26th of April. I'm sure last Sunday, April, will be up on BCP probably in a week or two. So if you're in Alberta, go check that out. If you're also in Alberta, May 30th, there is still spots available at the Big Thaw GT. It's happening in Edmonton, and it's a great chance for you to practice your list before the GW Open, which is going to be mid-June.
June 19th.
June 19th, that's right. And that's all I've got for today. So I'll just sign off by saying, if you're listening to this on podcast, thank you for listening. And if you're listening to it on YouTube, give it a like, give it a subscribe, hit all the buttons, do all the analytics stuff, let the algorithm take its chance on us. And thank you for listening, and